When I was maybe 10 or 11, I was homesick from school and was on the couch watching TV when the doorbell rang. It was the mailman who told me he had gotten a package, but it was so big that he needed help carrying it. I wasn't that old, but I knew right away something was wrong. I asked him where his truck was because I didn't see it parked outside. He kept telling me it was around the corner. I asked him why the regular mailman, who always brought lollipops with him, wasn't there, and I was told he was visiting family. He kept telling me to open the front door, but I politely told him that I wasn't feeling well and that I wasn't allowed to leave the house. I told him we would pick up the box from the post office, and he was telling me how much of a hassle that would be, and how my mom would want me to do her this favor. I told him that I would come outside, but I had to get my shoes from upstairs first. Of course, I wasn't going to go outside. I closed the front door and locked it. Then I ran through the house and locked the back door and called my neighbor who was working from home. Now I want to clarify right away. I have a front door and a screen door. The screen door stays locked all the time, 24/7. So if we even need to talk to somebody, all we do is have to open the front door and the screen door is always shut. My neighbor was a close family friend, and I called her up screaming into the phone that she had to come over right now. Then, I stood at the locked front door and stared at the man through the window in the door. He saw me staring and yelled through the door asking if I found my shoes, so I yelled to him that I called my neighbor to help carry it because she's older and stronger. He just turned around and ran. They never caught him. I always wondered if he managed to trick some other kid, and I always wonder what would have happened if I had went outside. I was driving a shortcut from 29 Palms, California to Albuquerque, New Mexico. 29 Palms is located in the desolate high desert east of LA. The shortcut was completely a two-lane road through total nothingness, except for passing through Amboy, California. Amboy is nearly an abandoned town, nearly as far below sea level as Death Valley, with a dormant volcano and lava field on one side and a salt flat on the other. It was also at the time a hotspot for satanic group activities. So I was driving by myself in the afternoon. I stopped in Amboy and snapped a picture of the city sign just to prove I was there to friends who dared me to take the route to I-40. I got back in my car and proceeded to drive up into the mountain range between Amboy and I-40. Once I reached the top, I'm driving north through a canyon with high grass on both sides of the road. Up ahead, I see some stuff in the middle of the road. As I approach, I slow down to see a red Pontiac Fiero stop sideways across both lanes and a suitcase open with clothes scattered everywhere and two bodies laying face down in the road, a man and a woman. I stop 100 feet or so away and the hair on the back of my neck is standing up. Being a Marine, I reach under the seat and pull out my 9mm pistol and chamber around. Something seemed very wrong, and it looked too perfect as if it were staged. An ambush, I thought. Was I being paranoid? I don't know. Something was just feeling wrong in my gut. Getting out of the car seemed unthinkable. As I scanned the road, I saw a line I could drive, past the guy on the road on his left, swerve to the right of the woman, behind the Fiero, and I'd be on the other side. I dropped it into first gear, punched it, and drove the line I planned. I passed the back of the Fiero without hitting it or either of the bodies in the road. I continued forward a couple hundred feet and slowed down so I could breathe, and let my heart slow down. As I looked up into the rearview mirror, I always thanked God that I never ever thought about getting out of my car, because what I saw was truly disturbing. I looked into my rearview mirror and saw the two bodies had gotten up onto their knees, and 20 or so people emerged from the tall grass on either side of the road by the car and the bodies. At that moment, my right foot smashed the gas pedal to the floor, and I did not let it up until I had to slow down for the I-40 East on ramp. I will never know what would have happened to me if I had gotten out of the car to check on the bodies, or stopped my car closer to them. Once, when I was still too young to drive, my mom came to pick me, my sister, and our friend up from our concert at a local bar. It was around 2 a.m. as we were driving back to our neighborhood, which was in the middle of nowhere. Seriously, we didn't even live close to the city limits. There weren't even any streetlights near our neighborhood, or really for a 5-mile span around where we lived, so it was always pitch black. Where we were driving along the street, we came up over a hill, and my mom starts slowing down. Naturally, we start asking her why she's slowing down, and she points ahead to the road at the bottom of the hill and tells us she's trying to figure out what's happened up ahead. We look, and all I can see is this huge mass of people walking around in the middle of the road, completely blocking it. Someone even had a torch, I kid you not. My mom slows down almost completely and starts flickering her lights, hoping they'll move, but they don't. So she did a quick U-turn and we went a different way. To this day, I have no idea what those people were doing. But the way that guy had a torch, it looked like they were doing some sort of satanic ritual. I don't know. In our woods where we live, there's some creepy shit that goes down. I don't even know how to describe it. So this story is my personal story. I lived in an old farmhouse that was over 150 years old in the 1990s and at some point had been used as a headquarters for the Union troops in the northern VA. Lots of creepy things happened there, but this is the most disturbing one. The house had a stone cellar, divided into 2 rooms, and it always made me uncomfortable going down there to get anything from my parents. One day, I was asked to find some menial object that was in the cellar, and I knew it would be in the room with the boiler room in it. The room that also happened to have a dysfunctional light. So I made my way into the basement, and lo and behold, the damn light would not turn on. But the object that I needed was within the frame of light reaching into the blackness of the room through the doorway. So I walked a few steps into the room, grabbed the object, and randomly glanced around. In the corner of the room was a dark shadow about 6 feet in height and humanoid in shape. No worries though, my dad kept his 6-foot-tall John Wayne cutout in the basement. So that had to be it, right? I calmly turned to my left and nearly jumped out of my damn skin as I came face to face with John Wayne, just inside the doorway and leaning against the wall. I spun on my heels and stared into the empty corner where the dark shadow had just been moments ago. I refused to go down into the basement for at least a month after that. I don't know what the hell that figure was in the corner, because if my dad's John Wayne cutout was next to me, who was the person in the corner? Or should I say, what was the person in the corner? Was it some person? Was it somebody trying to rob us? I never know.